I admit it, I'm lazy, so I've been looking for a good general purpose saw blade so I don't have to take the time to swap out blades while I'm using my table saw. So I just decided to try a Amana tool blade. That's a 40 tooth general purpose blade. I did try this Freud Premier Fusion blade, and I had nothing but trouble with burning with that blade. Seems that there's so little clearance around the carbide and that edge there, that coating there, that I always seem to get edge burning on everything I cut with it. I mean, it did cut good, but it, just is extremely frustrating. And then for a while I used this Grizzly combination blade that came with this saw. That cut good too, but I did chip a carbide tooth on that, and I don't really know how, but I wound up getting a one bad tooth that started leaving tear out, so decided it was time for a new blade. And I know that Amana Tool makes really high quality industrial carbide tooling and whatnot, so I found this blade online, and what I liked about it was it has a thicker plate than other blades, and it does have a 0.134 inch kerf that is a little bit wider too. That should work better with the the wide kerf splitter that I have. Plus it looks like there's a lot of carbide on there, so there's actually plenty of room for extra sharpenings on it also. So, here I am giving it a try. It has a what they call an electro blue coating. I think that's supposed to be a like a no-stick coating, but I'm not too sure about it. It went on the saw perfect. The center arbor hole was, drilled, with a nice perfect fit and everything. So, I did notice though picking it up that having the thicker plate on it, it is quite a bit heavier than the Freud blade and the Grizzly blade were. So I think you do need a couple horsepower table saw to be able to spin this blade and use it. And I did order it from a online company called Tools Today, and if you sign up for an email, they give you a 10% discount. There you can see what the Freud blade did to I'm working on those nightstands a little bit at a time, and it had a tendency to burn everything, so figured I'd put this blade on and just do a quick video showing the first couple of cuts with it. And there's a piece of ash that's about 1.5 thick, and you can see it's a really nice clean cut. It's extremely smooth if you feel it. You can see just a minute amount of scrapes in there from the blade, but basically it's a perfect cut. Now here's just a piece of 3/4 of an inch ash, and the same thing you can see if you look carefully and get it in the light. It's an extremely smooth finish, but you can see just a couple fine lines in there if you get it just right, which I really am amazed at the quality of cut. But the thing about it that I really like is after you make a cut, you can take the two pieces of wood and just kind of slip them back together, and it's such a straight, perfect cut that the cut line actually disappears. I've never had a blade that cut quite this good or this straight before, so I'm real happy with the way that looks. And here you can see ripping a piece of the almost 1.5 inch ash that I did with that Freud blade, and you can see how it burned up and stuff. With this blade, it's no problem. Actually, I think you could feed this blade really, really fast if you had the ability to. But same thing, perfectly straight cut, real nice sharp edges and everything. And if you look carefully, you can see a couple of little marks in it and stuff. Let me just see if I can get it in the light so you can see. There they are. You really can't feel them or anything, but you can see a little bit of a telltale sign of the blade cutting. Now I'm just doing these test cuts with the blade guard off the saw, but you should always have the blade guard in place when you're using the saw. So here's a couple of pieces of 3/4, and same thing. This blade actually cuts effortlessly. It's just pretty amazing how smooth it cuts and how smooth it runs on the saw. And for a general purpose blade, it really does do a nice job on it. And again, you can see just some really just some barely telltale marks from the blade, but it's almost a perfect cut. And for under $60, I mean, that's pretty amazing to me. It's almost half the price of the that Freud blade that I bought. So here's 2 strips of 3/4 that I just ran through the saw, and I'm just going to hold them together here to show you just how this actually could be used for a glue line rip blade. You can see, just how perfect that whole cut is. There's not one bit of wandering or anything else in it. Everything is just the cut line actually just disappears. It's just so straight and smooth. So it looks like this blade's going to be a winner. I'll really tell over time, and after a couple cuts you can see there's it looks like there's plenty of clearance. You can actually see there's like sawdust there, so I know definitely it's not rubbing on the blade, that body of the blade there. So there is plenty of clearance on this blade. And nothing has stuck to that blue coating yet, so it looks like it's it looks like it's gonna work good. Then I just decided to try a cut on a piece of softer walnut just to see how that is. And this is just basically rough cut walnut. It hasn't been planed or anything yet, so you can see it really it did a nice job. Just maybe a couple little telltale marks if you look at it carefully, but it's perfectly straight, smooth cut when you feel it. And then just one more cut on some 1/2-inch ash. These are actually the drawer sides for the that dresser that I'm working on. I had trouble with the Freud blade burning, and you can see it's just a perfect cut. Nice smooth cut, straight. No real chip out on it or anything else. And again, if you just slide the 2 pieces together that were just cut, you can see it's a perfectly straight cut. It's just so precision and straight. There's no flex or wobble in this blade whatsoever. So this is just, basically my first impressions of this blade. I just received it and threw it on the saw and, gave it a try. And over time, I'll keep everybody up to date on, how well it's performing and how it's standing up and, just how it's working out for me. And so far, it looks like it's going to be the best general purpose blade that I found yet. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.